Hey guys, this is a combat review of all the different weapons in Valheim, Hearth, and Home. We are going to start with the Dagger and jump this goblin here from behind. It's really slow to sneak up on the guys, and you have to aim this perfect on the perfect distance to actually hit them. And when you do hit them, you do nice, good damage, 400 damage, and he is one shot. That is the second attack of the Dagger, and the most effective way to use it. Not much people do it because it takes a long time to find the guy and actually sneak up on them and get in behind them to do that. Now, if you sneak up behind the guy and use the regular attack, you aren't going to do very much damage. Even though the Dagger says it's 6x damage for the backstab, it's pretty good. You're not going to get the most effective unless you use that the alternate attack. Is going to be the most effective. And its stamina use is 10. It is very fast. See how fast that is? And of course, in attacks, you have 3 attacks in your attack chain for like almost every weapon. Has 3 basic attacks, and the third attack does the most damage, and all the weapons have knockback and stagger on them. And they have a block force on it, and the Dagger is pretty bad at it. But as you can see, this is the Silver Dagger, and its damage is 28, and then an extra 12 for Spirit. So you can run around and sneak up on guys and do not massive damage with a backstab, but for everyday use, it's not very practical. So let's move on to other things in the combat besides the weapons having the basic 3 attacks and then the alternate attack like that. We will go with the, let me see. How about the sword? Or the bow? We'll do the bow. Now, the bow is the basic weapon that most people are going to be using from the start of the game for everything, because you can shoot guys from long range. And the bows have different arrows and different damage types like fire damage, and poison, and frost damage, and spirit damage. Everybody has a weakness, and you can obviously tell by the weaknesses. If they're yellow, then they're weak. If they're white, then it's regular damage. And if it's gray, it's like half damage. And see this guy here, I can't sneak up on him. He's looking this way. I have to go all the way around if I want to sneak up on him. So that's why you normally come from far away. He's sitting there. And you just aim at him from far away. He doesn't see you. Oh, there he sees me. Hit a rock, of course. And you shoot guys like that. Not very fun. And pretty simple, no alternate attack. Now you can use a weapon like the porcupine here and do a block, and when they swing, perfect block, he is staggered. He'll attack again, perfect block. And there's the stagger bar on the block there. You can see that for a second. I won't get a perfect block this time. I'll let him hit me a couple times. And show you that block stagger bar. There it is there. He doesn't attack fast enough to actually raise it. But it stacks up if you get multiple attacks, but heavier attacks like by trolls and stuff like that. And when that bar fills up all the way, you get staggered. And the enemies have a bar like that too, and they will get staggered eventually too. But if you do a perfect block on them and you stagger them, or just they get staggered by the damage, they take double damage, just like a sneak attack. But of course, the sneak attack on the Dagger is like 6 times, where it's just double damage from the stagger. See, the block bar is not going up. He's just not strong enough to actually hurt you at this point. And let's see a regular attack on the Dagger. We'll go to attack him. 25 damage, not much. Perfect block though, 40. And then you get the third attack is the double damage attack at the end. And when they're staggered like that, they take double damage. See how fast that Dagger was? It can be pretty handy for the Dagger itself. Now we'll move on to the spear. Nobody really uses the spear very much either, because its attacks are pretty lame. This is really short range for a spear. It's not very effective. Like, most of the time you can be standing right in front of a guy and swinging at them and you'd be missing them when you try and use it. The alternate attack on this one here is just a throw attack. And once you throw it, it is gone, and you have to pick it up. Which is another thing, you might lose it, and if you're in a hairy situation and you're throwing your spear at a guy, you're weaponless until you pick it up again. And its damage is just regular damage, and it's piercing also. So there's 3 damage types. There's piercing, like for the bow. You know, there's the regular piercing damage, then there's the blunt damage like you get in the porcupine, but it has piercing too, and then there's slashing damage with the swords. Most guys will have a weakness, some of them don't, some of them just have strength against stuff. So we will look at the, we won't do any combat with the spear, but those are the attacks. It doesn't have any 3-hit combos, which is another bad thing for it. It just has, you know, you can throw it. So it's, you know, it's basic, not really used that much. Basic, like the pickaxe, is not a real weapon. It's mostly a tool. It doesn't have any 3-hit combos. It is just a swing and a hit. Just like the axe, though, it does have a 3-hit combo, but no special attack also. Just a regular hand axe for chopping wood. It's got the 3-hit combo here, and of course the 3rd hit is double damage and it can stagger guys and fill them up. Okay, we will move on to the next most common weapon, or the start of the weapon. We'll use the Stag Breaker. This is the 2-handed weapon for blunt damage. Its movement speed is -20, and it uses 12 stamina for attack. This weapon is very handy. It has a big AoE and a big knockback, and if you make the iron one, you'll be doing pretty good damage with it. And this is good for hitting everything underground. So if you build a pillar for defense, you raise the land and you're up nice and tall, nobody can hurt you. You can stand on the edge, and you swing, and your hammer will hit the guys down below you while you're safe, and you don't have to use arrows in case you run out of arrows. But I use this for searching for stuff underground if you don't have the wishbone, or you know where it is and the wishbone's being picky and you can't find out where that hidden chest is underground to get those silver necklaces. You can just use this and keep searching underground and hitting stuff. And its knockback is really good for the 2-handed hammer. We'll move on to the sword next and get this over with. The sword is really good for slashing. This is the best slashing weapon in the game so far. And lots of things are weak to slashing, or just, you know, it's just neutral damage. This 3-hit combo is like this. And its alternate attack is a nice stab like that. And that does nice, great damage on guys. Another way to do it is, of course, you can use a shield with this also. So you can do a perfect block, stagger them, and then you can do a stab, or you can do a perfect block and move in and do a 3-hit combo on them. It's your style, your choice. Both of them can be very effective. But, you know, this has more of an effect for neatness, I guess. So nothing too, you know, unpredictable about swords. And of course it's, you know, all these other weapons basically have a basic backstab of ×3. Well, then, you know, the Dagger had, you know, ×6 backstab. We'll move on to the Frostnar. It's my more favorite blunt weapon because of the extra frost damage and the spirit damage that gets added onto it, and its stamina usage is lower than the porcupine. This one here only uses 12, and the porcupine uses 14, and both have the same type of attacks. So they're both 1, 2, and then 3 for the smash, and the alternate attack is a wind up, you know, wind up under uppercut. And that does really great damage to them for both weapons. The porcupine is very versatile, that it can hit. It has a blunt and a piercing, and it's really good at piercing. But, you know, you have a bow. Everybody's going to be running around with a bow, and that does just piercing damage. So you don't really need it for the extra piercing. But the frost damage slows guys down, and so it has more of an effect on it. And, of course, the spirit damage will only work on the undead, which is a lot of stuff in the swamp here. So let's go to the porcupine so you can see it. It's 1, 2, 3 also, and then the uppercut. Little guys here to fight and show you. So let's go on to the, I guess this Crystal Battle Axe, the last one. The Crystal Battle Axe has great block on it. I should show you the stats a little bit more in depth. 108 slash. It's not as strong as the other things, but it's the best 2-handed axe type weapon for slashing at the moment. And it has an extra spirit damage in there. And of course, it's very heavy on the stamina, 18, but its block armor and block force is pretty good. You can block most things with this, and, you know, without the shield. But its movement speed penalty is -20, so it's not really fast for running around with. For the blocking, looks like that. And its first attack is very, very slow. You're not going to want to use this one very often, but this sweeping attack hits everything in front of you in this big arc, and this weapon is special because it doesn't have any damage reduction for AoE. So this hit can hit like anybody, and that's full damage for all the guys. And its 3-hit combo, its second hit is really fast, and the third hit is just a regular hit, but it's double damage as usual, and it can really smash and hurt guys just as much as the other weapons do. And of course, the alternate attack is one of my favorite ones, because any guy's coming towards you nice and fast, it's just a quick stab, and this will also stagger them because this weapon is a heavy weapon and has great stagger on it. So one attack will stagger most guys, and then you can move in for a 3-hit combo, but since they're staggered, you do double damage, you can double it up again. Now the other weapon is the Dagger, and I left that in my base, sorry. It's hanging out there. And we'll show you that one. That was the currently most popular weapon for melee weapons out there because of its AoE sweep attack that stuns guys. It's like an automatic stun attack on it. And my inventory is full, so I can't pick it up. There we go. Okay, this is what it looks like. Running around. You can take a closer look at the stats. You know, it does nice, good pierce damage. It's another reason why I don't use it, because you got a bow. Why are you going to bring another pierce weapon into the thing? But if you're fighting guys that are weak against pierce, you know, on the plains or whatever, it's really handy. But most people use it because it does have a good block value too. It has nice, it's better block force than the axe, I think. Let me see. Nope, the axe is better at blocking. So this is. But this movement speed is only -5 penalty for movement speed. So this could be more versatile for running around and dodging stuff. And of course its AoE attack is where it shines. It hits everything around you. It's not good at heals like every other weapon, but this attack, the alternate attack, will stun everybody and knock them back. Then you can move in for its 3 hits, and then a stab at the end. Now, the other reason why this isn't my favorite weapon is because the stabs, the first stab hits them, the second stab will stagger them, and then the third stab will miss because they get staggered and knocked back. So you have to start off really close, which negates the longer range of the attack right off the bat. And you get minimum, you get to move up a little bit, just the minimum amount, and it's just pierce damage, and we have that covered. So the slashing damage, lots of things are neutral to slashing damage, so you're not going to run into your weaknesses as often as the pierce. That's why I use that one more often myself. And the other thing about combat is when you're blocking, you got to be facing the guy, of course, and to get the perfect block, they have to be actually swinging at you and hitting you. So you have to wait for them to swing and then you hit. Like, perfect blocking a death skew here isn't really that easy, but I just stab them like that. But I wanted to get this and get the egg here, and we'll do a swing attack on. See that missed? Staggered. And perfect block. Because you have to wait for the actual swing. That's too soon. There you go. You have to wait till the swing is actually in motion. It may look like this is okay, but that's not a perfect block. And that is. That's the fine line you have to get for a perfect block. And if you're holding your block, like so, you can hit the jump button and dodge backwards for combat. And he'll totally miss it. Or you can press sideways and jump sideways when they're swinging at you. And avoid your damage this way. Of course you can perfect block and then... That's just a skeleton. That's not much to worry about. Most of the guys in the swamp here are weak to frost damage. Like these guys here. These is usually pain. You can just kill them. See that yellow number for damage there. So that's how you can get the perfect blocks in, is make sure you're ready for their attacks and you're blocking them. Oh, somebody attacked me. Oh, that's just a skeleton. We'll come over here and kill these leeches. Oh, here we go. Abomination. Axe is the best weapon for this. You run in here with the axe. Hey, where's my axe? Just staggers them. You can do a perfect block on these guys here. But see, that attack is too slow after you do the perfect block to actually hit them. And of course, kills the blobs nice and easy. Come on, hit me, guys. With a block, then you can stab them like that to do nice, good damage. Stab. Nice quick attack with the axe. Takes care of the abominations quickly. That's why it's my favorite. I just love this badge. And of course, it's good for cutting down trees if you don't want to carry extra tools. You can do full damage to everything around you with it. So that's the combat tactics video. I hope you learned what weapons you want to use from the start to the finish of the game. And you got my opinion on what to use. You got a bow for piercing, you keep an axe for slash, and then a little shield in case you want to block stuff, and of course the frost meter to block stuff, kill stuff for the blunt damage. Or the porcupine. It doesn't matter, they're both pretty equal towards the same, but I prefer the actual frost damage for extra stuff. And of course, here's another blob. And of course, nice and fast. No work at killing stuff. Bat it up. That's up. Knock him out. Okay, and that is all the weapons and how to use them. Oh, I should mention the, did I show you the daggers thing there? I think I was going to show you that when I found the guy. After you perfect block with a dagger, you can use this alternate attack to stab them. So we'll get this guy up here. Everybody. Use your alternate attack and stab. 130 damage. Of course, bows are harder to block. Oh, can't jump very good in water. Okay, and that is the review of all the weapons and what to do, how to use them, and what's most effective against what. Thanks for watching.